medical clerk made me stand outside in 104-degree heat, so I staged a mini revolution. This took place during the first summer of lockdown where I live. Some context for you: my town is basically on the edge of nowhere. We have a medical center for basic stuff, but a full hospital is 30 to 40 minutes in any direction depending on where you chose to go. With that in mind, we get people from a huge surrounding area that go to our town center for tests, simple medical exams, etc. Maybe as many as 50 small communities use our center on a daily basis, so it is constantly busy. The center itself is quite small compared to hospitals in the city. The various clinics and a basic ER take up most of the space, with an area by the front doors for the public to sit in if they are waiting for a ride or someone visiting a doctor. It is that waiting area that is the cause for my story today.
One day during the first summer of lockdown here, I had to go to the medical center for tests. Some things to know about me. I am challenged with multiple disabilities. I am legally blind, have significant mobility and balance issues, and a rather severe heart condition. As such, I use a walking frame and travel using the city's provided disabled transports. That particular day, I had finished my tests early and had 45 minutes to wait until my transport was scheduled to return to pick me up. I figured, no problem. I will just sit in the waiting area and, well, wait. Haha. I shuffled over to the seats with my walker plainly evident and was confronted by a new sign. Staff only. Say what now? I looked around at all the empty seats and vacant tables and turned to the clerks at the entrance. Me, can I please have a seat in the waiting area until my transport come back?
Clerk, coldly, no, it's staff only. You need to wait outside. Mia, I can't stand for 45 minutes waiting for my transport, gesturing to my plainly apparent walking frame that I was clearly leaning heavily on. Clerk, not my problem. There are benches to sit on outside. Me, the benches are full and we are supposed to be social distancing, not cuddling up to random strangers on a park bench. Clerk, if you want, I suppose I could let you take a wheelchair out and sit in that. Me. And how am I to manage a wheelchair and my walking frame at the same time?
Clerk, again, not my problem. If you want, you can call center management when you get home. Are we done here? Me. I guess we are done, huh? And went outside to find a spot to wait. Well, I stood outside for the 45 minutes while the sun beat down on what turned out to be 104th day. As I stood there, I noticed that there was a line of patients growing steadily longer, also standing outside in the heat waiting to be let into the building. Some looked fit, but let's face it, nobody comes to a medical center because they feel 100%. Most of them looked quite ill and some were looking pretty faint by the time they got through the doors. By the time my transport arrived, I was badly sunburned, thirsty as hell, exhausted and feeling more than a bit faint myself. My driver was shocked and insisted on walking me to my front door when he got me home to make sure I was okay. Shout out to all transport drivers, you guys rock. The rest of the day was a complete loss. I spent it drinking water, sleeping and nursing the burns on my shoulders and face. Lol. I was a right mess. The next day, however, I was pissed. I had plenty of time to recover and to think, and I kept coming back to that line of patients standing in the heat. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Malicious compliance. The words the clerk so smugly said, you can call center management when you get home if you want, danced through my sun-baked brain like a mantra. I called center management. What followed was a half-hour conversation with the sweetest lady. She was so nice and so upset when I told her all that went on the day before. She was especially concerned when she found out about the line of people waiting outside what turned out to be the hottest day we had that summer. After our talk, the manager promised to look into it and get back to me. Now normally that's sort of a brush off, right? Not so with this lady. 2 days later, she called me back. Turned out, she had spent the day before sitting at the clerk's desk observing things that went on. Things like patients being forced to stand in the rain waiting to get into the center, patients being poorly spoken to by the same clerk, and the cherry on top? At one point, a tiny, elderly lady tried to sit down in the waiting area and the same clerk ran over and rudely shoved her aide and snapped staff only, with her boss sitting right there. The manager went over, tore down the signs, apologized to the lady and helped her to a seat, then took the clerk into her office for a chat. The results: the center was immediately restructured. Staff were moved into an unused gift shop. The waiting room is returned to the public, and best of all, the registry desks were moved so patients no longer had to stand outside waiting to get into the building. I never saw that clerk there again. I know this isn't as exciting as most stories on here, but knowing I was part of making things so much better for so many still makes me happy. Dang it, I am proud of my mini coup, ha ha ha, vive la resistance and all that crap. Edit to add, thank you all for all the positive feedback and awards. You really make this human feel loved. Smile.
Great job. People get a little bit of power and their true colors come out. I'm so glad you feel better and followed up.
It may not be as exciting or interesting as some of the stories here, but I bet you'd be hard-pressed to find many stories that end with this much community good. It sounds like your actions have greatly benefited many people who were in need. You should be very proud of yourself. My guess is that this began at a high level because of recommendations or restrictions coming down from federal health entities which stipulated patients may not congregate in waiting rooms. It was common throughout Arizona, even during the 110-plus-degree summer, for staff to apologetically let us know that federal guidelines mandated we must wait outside the office for our appointments.
Well done you. Sometimes complaints are needed and this was clearly one. Well done.
Devil's advocate. That clerk did not make the rules, and would be in trouble if they broke them. It's shit management, but at least they saw what their actions did and corrected it. I'm always amazed at how many people with a lack of even a minimal amount of empathy and compassion end up working healthcare jobs.
You may not have thought that was as exciting as other stories, but it was incredibly satisfying.
We had to move everyone out of the waiting room because it wasn't negative pressure and was going to make sure everyone got sick with what was going on. No one was allowed in there, and our hospital remodeled it and put in a new vent system. No idea why they did that though. If you tell people, not my problem. Complain to my boss if you want. Then don't be surprised if they actually do complain to your boss. Who makes it your problem? There seemed to be a lot of power-hungry little doormen in hospitals like that. Whoa. Wait a minute. I'm sure the clerk did not make the call to make that room staff only. There has to be mitigating circumstances. A delivery driver was giving me a hard time at work the other day. Yet I just make the orders in the order they show up on my order screen. Then I bring it outside, call out the order number, and hope the driver pays attention to their app notifications. I press done on a tablet and it's supposed to notify them to come to the door. So this one guy is just constantly ringing our doorbell. He's not new. He knows how we do things. I ignore him and eventually bring out my next order. He's in my face. He's telling me this and that, asking why it's taking so long, when he can see how fucking packed my drive-thru is, plus the other delivery drivers around him. So I just said, I'm making them in the order they show up. Then he pulls out a second phone and tells me, I have another order. Get that one next. Now, the app delivery service he works for does not allow their drivers to take more than one delivery on at a time, and he's gotten a second phone to work around this rule. I don't use DoorDash a lot because they have the multi-order feature for drivers, and I'd like to get my food delivered directly from the restaurant. So this place caters to people like me. So after I go get his second order, something that I'm normally too busy to deal with, reporting him to the app means I have to spend a bunch of time on the phone, at the computer when I'm needed elsewhere. The phone rings. It's the delivery service support. They seem flustered. They're asking, where is order number 123? The driver says they've been waiting for a while. I quickly recall, hey, that impatient guy with the two phones had order number 123. So I just sent that order out. But the reason he was waiting so long is because he's using two phones to take more than one order at a time. I know that's against your policy. And he would have been able to leave for his delivery on the first order pretty quickly had he not stuck around for the second one. She immediately changed her tone from flustered to concerned, and she assured me that they would address it. So Buddy decided to call support and talk shit, and got himself reported when I wouldn't have had time otherwise. Way to go, Buddy. Your post just reminded me of that whole ordeal last night, where someone tries some bullshit when they're clearly in the wrong and it backfires on them. Op. Are there different degrees of blindness that are called legally blind? You said we're able to look around the waiting room and watch the people queuing. Is that partial blindness, blind in one eye, other? I hope I am not prying too much. I realize I know no one who is blind, and I've never really thought how far visual impairment can affect everyday activities. I had this not too long ago. Was pushed about from waiting area to waiting area since I wasn't complaining about pain and just watching Netflix on my phone. One person told me that if I wasn't serious I should just go home. I shrugged my shoulders and just stayed there. Around 2 a.m. I was seen by overly exhausted doc who took one look at the gaping wound I had in my side and loudly demanded to know why I kept getting pushed down the list. That same worker got a bit green looking at the red, black, yellow, green fluids that stained the insides of my uniform and just replied she wasn't complaining. The doc asked how much pain I was in and I again shrugged. I had had that pain for 2 weeks. I didn't know how bad it was anymore. Then he poked my insides and I cried. Got me some morphine, a room, and surgery at 8 a.m. Sounds like you're a regular at the center. And with the insane costs of medical bills, assuming you're in America, in conjunction with your efforts to ensure patient safety and comfort, it seems like they should put a little plaque up naming that seating section after you. With climate change in full force and people dying from heat where they would never have worried about it before, it behooves everyone to wear a big light-colored hat, or better yet carry a reflective silver umbrella any time they go out, anticipating the very real threat of deadly heat. About the couple, their baby and dog who died hiking in California this summer. https www.sfchronicle.com/bay area/articles/mariposa-county-mystery-investigators-rule-out-1649995.php. My dad has severe heart problems and cancer. I don't know what it is about hospital clerks, but we've had the worst time with them. They never seem to care the least bit about the patients, or their jobs for that matter. A few months ago my dad almost missed a major procedure. Clerk just says I can't find it, And it's not my problem. The oncology team sent a nurse to find us. That's just one incident with a hospital clerk. I for the life of me can't figure the issue with clerks out. Given you conditions, I'd have sat down and said I'll just wait here till someone with authority to move me comes, which might be security, but I suspect police might have to come to move you, then just get up when they arrive. You say this isn't as exciting as most stories? You got someone fired for doing a bad job and helped countless others in the process. I don't know about others, but that's the fine blend of schadenfreude by proxy and justice that I come to this sub for.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.